Hi, this is Karojo Carol for Hollywood Entertainment News, and I have got a guest who is a mega rock star drummer. Yes, he is. He's played all over this world. His name is Mike Hansen. Hey, Mike, how are you?
Hey, how are you? Glad to be here.
Yeah, I'm glad you're here too. I'm so excited. I got some fun questions to ask you, get
All
to know
right.
you a little bit better, and then when we're all done, we're going to be best friends.
I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me on your show.
Oh, you're more than welcome. And another thing is, here at Hollywood Entertainment News, we support Operation Mobility. Operation Mobility serves disabled veterans around the world and their families. So I wanted to get that out there. And now you're a drummer for that too, right?
Yes, yeah, I'm gonna be playing on single with Don Randy and the boys. Yep.
Oh, that's excellent. Great. Well, what I want to do is ask you first off. I had heard that you originally wanted to play the guitar, but you ended up being a drummer. Now, what is the backstory on that?
Well, my pops was a guitar player who also played with Barbara McGraw for 25 years. And so when I was a little kid, I wanted to be a guitar player. Everybody wants to somewhat follow the footsteps possible. Some people do, at least I did. And he's like, "No, man, you can't be a guitar player." I go, "Why?" He goes, "Because I need a drummer when I'm off the road." I said, "Oh, okay." So then I just became his drummer. That's how I fell into the drum world. Because when he got off tour, I would be his drummer. Starting at 11 years old, I started playing with him pro.
Wow, that's awful young, huh? And you going at a professional capacity?
Yeah, right. Great pro. I was playing like 2 to 6 nights a week.
Wow, that's like America's Got Talent. If they had it back there, you would have won.
Back in the day, we had week in the late 70s, so they had places for bands to play. Not so much anymore. These days isn't. Back when I was a kid, music was saturated everywhere. Great.
Yeah. What I want to know is what are the different types of bands you play? Well, I know you're with Hurricane, but I want to know a little bit of the backstory about the other bands.
Well, I mean, my history is long and kind of, I play a lot of styles of music, and I feel blessed for that I'm able to do that. Not everybody's able to do that. It's just the road that I followed. And so in that respect, when I started playing rock and roll and country, because of my father, and then I kind of out in my late teens, and I started playing more like R&B and soul and blues and things like that, and then so I started kind of marketing myself as an all-around drummer, not just one kind of drummer. Because I knew that if I pigeonholed myself, I felt that I didn't want to do that, because I didn't know what my future life. And look, sure enough, I've got friends today, that's all they know how to do is one style of music. So I'm grateful that I opened my mind to more than one kind of music. So I went to R&B, and when I was 19, I moved to Vegas and I became the drummer for the Pointer Sisters for 4 years.
Whoa.
Yeah. And that got me out west, from Chicago,
Yeah.
'cause I love Chicago. And I moved to Vegas for 4 years. And then from Vegas, I moved to LA. And, I lived there for 36. And now I've resided back to Chicago now. So, but in LA, I started playing just a lot of sessions, playing a lot of pop bands from the Pointer. So I started doing a lot of rap records. And got into the rap world. And I was working for Tommy Boy Records and Ruthless Records, with, Dr. Dre, all those guys. And I was working with Compton's Most Wanted, I was working with Digital Underground, Eazy-E, all these kind of acts. And I was going from Vegas to LA. Finally, it took the point where I needed to move to Los Angeles because I was working so much. And Vegas was for Vegas anyway. They started blowing up, all the casinos and, all of, the Orient started coming, buying up the property, building new casinos. So, I left when the Mirage was built.
Right, I see. Now I got a question for you. When it comes, and I know some of these answers, but I think for the viewers, it's nice to kind of ask a question that maybe you know the answer to, but the viewers don't. When
Okay.
you're playing, let's say R&B, and you're playing rap, and of course we have the disco era. As far as the drum beats go, are they the same?
No, the drum beats are not the same. The feel is not even the same. It's like eating different ethnic foods. You know, you're gonna
Yeah.
go into Middle Eastern food, and then you're gonna go into Asian food. They're completely different. Exactly the same with music.
Excellent. That's what I wanted to hear. And because people say, well, he's just a drummer and it's all the same. I'm going, no, it's not. It's
Uh,
extremely technical and you just don't understand. So that's why I asked you that. And also, when it comes to just playing the drums,
yeah,
now you have the digital sort of drums there. Do you find that there's a big difference between the two?
yeah. There's a difference between mainly it's the feel that's different. A real drum set, feel the air push cells, and you can feel your pressure of your intensity of your playing. With electronic kit, you play lightly and just turn a knob and turn up the volume. Your sensitivity levels, of your instinct don't have to be of the same, even though that you'll deliver the same. They don't have to be the same. But on acoustic kit, you have to deliver all your sensitivities, how crescendo or decrescendo playing, which is dynamic.
Now,
So yeah,
how do
it
you
does feel.
Now, how do you feel about the sound quality between just playing the drums and then playing the digital? What sound quality for you? Which one do you prefer?
Well, definitely acoustic drums. I mean, well, I was weaned on. I wasn't weaned on electronic kit. When all your skill is set up towards an acoustic kit, as you're learning drums as a beginner, right? Now, some guys I know fiddle around with electronic stuff, but when I was young, we didn't have electronics.
Right.
We didn't have none of that kind of stuff. It was play drums or you didn't play anything. We didn't have a choice, right? So,
Yeah.
this is what we weaned ourselves. But technically speaking, the way the digital world is set up today is so great because they've taken acoustic sounds and redigitized them into a computer chip. So you're really playing the real sounds of those real drums, but
Right.
the feel of the product is different.
Right. I understand. I understand that. I've always, wondered, when I've seen them playing on these like little plates and then you got a full drum set and I'm like, I think personally I prefer the big drum set. I like to see the man move. I want to see, or the woman. I want to see them move and really get into it. You can feel the spirit. You can see the muscles moving. You can see them breathing. And I think this adds to your love for playing the drums and the music that you're playing. To me, I feel personally that that's very important. And I know the crowd goes wild. They truly do. You're trying to stay cool and you got all the emphasis on the drums and in a weird way, it's like sexual. I know I shouldn't say that,
No,
but it is. It is.
it is. It's a form of communication.
Yeah.
And you're like, our job is to lift on stage is to lift the audience, to
Right.
bring them to a spiritual level, which some bands don't know how to do that. But the bands that I play with, they lift you. A lot of the bands that I work with, and when you lift the audience, the object of the game is for them to receive their lift. So you keep on
Exactly.
going back and forth, and then it's an
Yeah.
awesome feeling, and you connect spiritually that way.
Okay, I have a question to ask, and it's always been, I've been in several, bands and singing, and they always said you have to follow the beat of the drummer. Then someone would say, no, you have to follow the bass player. And everybody follows a bass player. Who do they follow, actually?
Well, the drummer, of course. Without a good drummer, you don't have a good band.
I
You
knew
know?
that. And I kept saying, well, I'd rather hear the drums behind me, because the bass player, depending like where he is, sometimes you just can't hear him, if he's going through the monitor incorrectly or
Right.
whatever. But I always thought it was the drummer that the band would follow.
Oh, absolutely. Listen, we set the cadence. You
Yes.
know, if a drummer doesn't kick the band ass right out of the gate and set the level, you know, then the band's only going to play at that level.
Right.
So it's up to the drummer to bring the band to a certain level. And you know what? And I hold full responsibility for that.
I like that answer. That's a good answer. Do you have any fun stories from being on the road?
Yeah, I got lots of them, man.
I can only imagine.
You want the more clear version, right? But no, I mean, you're talking about like live on stage, maybe stuff. I got some fun stuff. So okay, so here's a funny one. So obviously dating myself, and some of the people, the listeners, are going to have to look this one up. They'll probably, but the artist,
Dad, stop that.
I used to play for Little Anthony and Fury, you know, and they were a band from the '50s, you know.
What?
So they did the songs like Jimmy Chicken, Cocoa Bop, you know, Tears on My Pillow, Hurt So Bad, you know. So I played with a full orchestra. What happened in Vegas one time, I got a call from the musical director. His name was Ricky Tempio, and he was Andy Gibbs' musical director, actually.
Whoa.
Playing Little Anthony. He
Wow.
calls me and he goes, "Hey, Mike," he goes, "this guy didn't learn all the charts for this gig. You know, Little Anthony's playing Four Queens Hotel. You know, can you play?" And I go, "Well, I'm dark with the Pointer Sisters, right? And dark means off. It means
Right.
that you're off that week, that night, whatever. That's the term in Vegas that they use when you're not playing, called the darkness.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I go, "Yeah, I'm dark tonight." He goes, "Well, I need you to play." I go, "What's the dates?" He goes, "Tonight." I go, "Tonight?" And I go, "All right." I go, "Where do you want me to go?" He goes, "I need you to come down to the Four Queens now and let's go over everything." So I came down there and he brought all the charts out. And you know, I emphasize the reading. You know, this is once again a job I had to not just memorize. So I was reading, you know, orchestrated part, you know, with a 15 orchestra. So
Yeah.
I get up there. Me and Steve go through all the songs, and we're good. And half of them I knew already because my father taught me a lot of them back when I was.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, so I'm lucky, right? So, anyways, I said, "Okay, what time's the show time?" We go on stage about 2 hours later from me coming to the show early. And I get on stage, and the curtains are drawn. They're all velvet curtains, and the band's, you know, warming up, tuning up. And here comes Little Anthony on stage. Never met the man in my life. He comes up to the musical director, and Steve goes, "Hey, man, just want you to meet your new drummer tonight." And he goes, "New drummer?" He had no idea that this was happening.
Wow.
And he goes, and I go, he goes, "Hey, this is Mike Hansen." And he goes, "Hey, Mike Hansen, nice to meet you." And I turn around and I go, "Hey, Little Anthony, nice to meet you." And in his little voice, he goes, "Don't call me Little, just call me Anthony," like that to me. And I'm like, "Okay." And then he goes, and he had these platforms on, and he turns around and he goes, "Listen, Mike, when I do 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 with my feet," he goes, "that's shimmy, shimmy, cocoa bop, and you're in." All of a sudden, he goes, "Let's get busy now." All of a sudden, man, the curtains opened right then, and the show started that quick, man. And I was just like, that was one of the funniest nights because he told me to listen to his 4-count beat on his platforms for the song, man. I was like, okay. And then the show was on, man. And I was, you know, it's a 2-hour show. It was crazy, man. But that was kind of funny. That was kind of a funny
Yeah,
night.
this is definitely a funny professional story.
Yeah, for sure, for sure, for
Hey,
sure.
listen, I know there's a lot of young drummers out there and people in the entertainment industry. Do you have any encouraging words for them as they're trying to get their own careers off the ground?
Yeah, you know, I think from my experience, you know, and kind of just briefly, but you know, try to absorb as much musical content as possible and be open-minded. Don't be so driven in a tunnel with one kind of music. You know, a real musician plays all kinds of music. They don't just play one kind of music. You know, a true accomplished musician dabbles. Look, you don't have to be the best at every style of music. It's just at least try it and understand it. Like I said, back to the food thing. You know, I use it as a great example. You know, if you don't try it, you don't know if you like
That's true. That's absolutely true. And now that we're closing out, I want to have you give your fans a positive message.
it. Well, you know, stay true to yourself as a person. Only trust yourself. in life because you're the one that's going to know the best, and don't ever doubt you. And you know what? Be honest as much as you can be with yourself, because I'll tell you what, being a nice person to people, being on time, in your business, professionally, and and don't waste other people's time. And obviously don't let anybody waste your time. Those are the things to me that are probably the most valuable things in being a successful musician. And that's what you need to key in on. And look,
Right.
we all dabble with alcohol and drugs and all these things. And I'm not going to say nobody tried them or done them, but be careful of the things that you do. And that's all I say. And try to stay healthy and through this thing. Because being a musician is not an easy job.
Thank you very much. I also know that you have a new song coming up with Hurricane. You want to tell us about that before we say goodbye?
Yeah, so Hurricane hasn't put out a record in years up until now. So our single just dropped for Hurricane's Reconnected album. That's what it's called, Reconnected.
Yeah.
And the single is called Rockstar Cheers, which I actually pretty much wrote the tune. So it's my visionary and my story. So it was a story about my divorce. so,
Oh,
so
okay.
yeah, so you'll hear it, but you'll be it's interesting to just listen to the words and you'll figure out what everything's about. But yeah, now the album drops on August 25th of this month. So the
Okay.
whole album, and it's on all platforms. Amazon. Just yesterday, we got Amazon rated us at number 56 right now.
Wow. That's fantastic. Listen, Mike, thank you
Yeah.
so much for coming on Hollywood Entertainment News. We'll talk to you later. We love you so much and all the work you've done. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Dei bougie, dei bougie.